Hello my friends and welcome to today's tarot reading. This is a general daily reading for all signs, but the sign that you are here probably means that there is a special message for you. So thank you so much for joining me today. Now, today is the 28th of June 2022. It is a Tuesday, the day of Mars, the day of initiation, the day of implementation. We've got several quite strong transits that start today. We've got Neptune stationing retrograde in 25 degrees of Pisces. So because Neptune is going retrograde, it causes us to actually have some kind of grip on our reality. It isn't so dreamy, things aren't so kind of out there. So this is a really good opportunity for new dreams to be manifest, really. And things that you didn't think were possible, they definitely have a gateway to being possible right now. And we also have the Sun in Cancer squaring Jupiter in Aries as well, which, you know, with the Sun in Cancer, there's a new way of us kind of moving forward that is congruent with our values that we have when we're at home. But with Jupiter in Aries, it's almost like the old habits. When it's squaring Jupiter in Aries, it's almost like the old habits that you thought that you got over. They come back to revisit you, or certain things about the home, they come to revisit you. So just be aware of that this is the energy, if you're wondering, and particularly because this new moon is also in Cancer as well. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of emotional energy that's kind of bouncing around today. I've definitely felt it. Anyway, with that being said, let's get on with today's reading. I'm reading with the Tarot by Caro, and I'll also be clarifying with the Soul's Journey Oracle cards. Dear Spirit, what message would you like to communicate to the collective today? And we're already starting with the Three of Wands reversed. Let's have a look. Dear Spirit. Sorry for the plane, my loves. Wow, so the Six of Cups, the Three of Wands, the Five of Cups. Wow. The Ace of Cups. See, I told you it was an emotional day today. Six of Wands reversed. Interesting. Strength, wow. And did you see how, like, I didn't know whether or not that was upright? And the Four of Wands, wow. That's interesting. Okay. My heart is heavy. Right, okay. And it's not, I don't feel like a general kind of sense of sadness. It's almost like today's a bit like goo, a bit like wading through something a bit heavier. I felt. Don't know, that could be just me being tired, I think. Let's have a look. Okay, thank you. Knight of Swords. Well, there is definitely a slower movement that's occurring here. Yeah, this sense of, I think this is all about building your strength. All about building the strength. Eight of Cups revert. Yeah, Eight of Cups, look, see? Yeah, it's all about building strength, judgment. Wow. And about answering the call. You know, it's almost like your soul is calling you to evolve to a higher purpose in order to let your emotions and love kind of float to you. It's almost also like there has to be a sense of sacrifice, because we're going from the 5 to the 6, or the 6 to the 5, however you want to read it. I read it like kind of as they are. But you know, I see these cups very, very, very positive, to be honest with you. And I see it as a trajectory for your own happiness. It's working towards your happiness. Currently, I don't feel that happiness, but I feel like it's a transition, because we go to the 5 to the 6. So it's almost like if we're yearning for how things were before, we're going to be unsuccessful. And I think that's where we have to kind of come round on a cycle where we're kind of reminiscing of what had happened before, what we believe that we wanted before, and then now, instead of wanting what we had, let's think about the future and think about what we could have. And I think this kind of reminiscence towards the past is actually causing some kind of detrimental effect to the success that could happen. Because whenever you achieve something, or whenever whenever there's some kind of success that's occurred, it's about how we look at that, and then we move on beyond that, and move on to bigger and better successes. But if we are yearning and wishing for a past thing or a past success, we get caught in the past, and trying to recreate something that wasn't there is going to be very difficult. And there is a sense of grief here, I feel. And the grief is almost like what is disallowing success. But I think that this is a part of the process. And I think that's what you do. You kind of get to a point where you wish that things were the way they are. They're not that way. You come to terms with it. That's why this strength came up the right way up. And then you move through it. And that's why Judgment appeared on the bottom of the deck, as well as this 8 of Cups. The Knight of Swords here says to me, this is not something that you can go in there like that. You can't. You need to look at it from a very different perspective, but you have to move. There has to be movement, but it can't be like that, and you have to do it with the sense of thoughts. So it's all about how you change your way of thinking and your style of thinking in order to start the kind of process. Wow. And it's really resonant with all of the astrological aspects that I mentioned, because there's a lot of deep flowing energy that's going on at the moment, especially with, that kind of heat. I don't know. There just seems to be something very deeply emotional that's changing, stirring. Patterns are really starting to change. They're really starting to move and evolve. And, right now in the UK, there's a lot of studying that's finishing. I'm a student myself, so I'm feeling this. But there's this sense of, study is finishing. And because study is finishing, there is, there's a release. And also, some people might be going back home. They might be spending more time at home than they would do in halls or at uni, or doing other things, doing other activities. So therefore, there's a lot of stuff that's going on that will come back, that will be revisited. And if things aren't the way that they were, and I'm not talking for this just from the student's perspective of going back home, I'm talking about from the parents' perspective, coming back home and then, looking forward to seeing their kids coming back home, but then realizing that their kids have gone through some massive transformations over that time. Same with the parents, or same with the students when they've gone back home. That's just an example. But in the respect of the energy is quite thick at the moment, in that sense of returning home. I don't know what it's like with other university years. In the UK, we finish in around about June, July. And then there's this, and it's also schools as well, the educational system, the whole educational system does that. So I've just got this feeling that, there is this abundance of love, but it's almost like if we strive to keep what we had before, then that's going to be very difficult to maintain. It's going to be very difficult. It's a very high expectation that is prone to disappointment, which is what we have here. Okay, so let's have a look at what the soul's journey wants to say. So yeah, it's about trusting this process. It's about trusting it. I accept that my inner voice will always guide me correctly. And there's a lack of trust. I think when you kind of go to old patterns and old behaviors, or the way that things used to be, or the way that you imagine things should be, then there is a sense of like attachment to an outcome and not trusting that something better is coming along. And it is. Something better is trying to come along. That's what's interesting about this. But it's not actually coming along because, you know, you're going through this process. But that's okay, because I think that this is part of the process. I don't think that you can go through the ace, to the 5, to the 6, then we get to the 8. They're all upright, so it means that they're all like being worked through. Do you know what I mean? So I think this is just a process. It's just a process of evolution. And this Neptunian energy, it makes so much sense, particularly with this sun in Cancer. You know, it's almost, and it's a square, so there's a conflict. There's a, you know, it's a, not a conflict like an opposition, but more kind of like it's tension. It's that thing where it's like, ooh, okay, this is a bit, you know. Whenever I think of squares, I think of the 4 of Pentacles. So I think about that blocked energy. So yeah, but yeah, those are the messages for today. I think that's everything I've got, my darlings. If you did like this video, please do like it. Please do subscribe for more videos. But otherwise, you take care, my darlings. Have a beautiful day, and I will see you very soon. Bye.